Tonight, the Electoral Commission calls out Parliament as it insists it is impossible to register voters in easy-to-access electoral areas. It has declared everything will be done to register all eligible voters before the 2024 elections.
Our present circumstances makes it impossible to conduct registration on electoral area basis choice. And I'd like to repeat it, that had the CI passed, we would have had some 6 months to register voters at any time of their choice.
We hear from the chairperson of the commission, who has been defending their decision to proceed with the controversial registration exercise despite a pending application for injunction.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. The Electoral Commission chairperson, Madam Jim Mensah, has tonight been out in force, standing her ground and declaring it is impossible to register voters in easy-to-access electoral areas. Now, the Commission has been under immense pressure to halt the voter registration exercise as political parties insist it will disenfranchise voters. Today, the chairperson has been calling out Parliament for laying the foundation that has made it impossible to comply with the wishes of civil society and political parties.
We wish to assure the good people of Ghana that we have their best interests at heart. We do not, and I repeat, we do not intend to disenfranchise eligible voters. It is in our interest to register them all. However, our present circumstances makes it impossible to conduct registration on electoral area basis. As you are all aware, the Commission prepared a draft CI for continuous registration in all district offices nationwide. This initiative started last year, and the registration we were envisaging under the draft CI was for a sustained long-term basis. Indeed, had the CI passed, we would have had some 6 months this year to register voters at any time of their choice. And I'd like to repeat it, that had the CI passed, we would have had some 6 months to register voters at any time of their choice in our district offices throughout the country. In this regard, ladies and gentlemen, our 2023 budget and work plan were prepared along those lines. Our 2023 work plan and budget was based on a continuous registration of voters in our district offices nationwide. We did not factor electoral area registration in our 2023 work plan and budget. Hence, our adoption of this method in line with our budget and our work plan, as well as our long-term plan and vision. You are all aware that our budget and work plan is approved by Parliament. We discuss our budget and work plan and we are mandated by law to discuss our budget and work plan with the Special Budget Committee of Parliament before its approval. So our budget and the work plan we are operating currently is well known to Parliament.
I want to bring in our parliamentary correspondent. He was also at the EC press conference and joins me right now in the studio. Quick question, you were in Parliament when this unfolded. He is calling our Parliament tonight for, in essence, laying the foundation for the troubles you're in right now. Where are we with the CI that he refers to? That, according to the chairperson, would have made it possible to deal with the issues of disenfranchisement and also getting more people registered.
Yes. In fact, the EC has been struggling for the last 2 years to get Parliament to pass that CI. They've gone through what is called the pre-laying process. But the NDC in particular have been vocal that if you make the Ghana card the sole identity document to register as the proposed CI proposes, that would disenfranchise so many Ghanaians because not everyone has the Ghana card. They were able to get the buy-in of their majority colleagues to sign on to a report to recommend to the EC to change that in the proposed CI. The Electoral Commission wrote back to Parliament and said that this is not something we are willing to do. And so they've hit a snag. That CI is still with the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. It has not made its way to the floor to be laid so that after 21 days, it can become law. And we know that there have been several engagements with the leadership of the House, but there has not been any concrete decision taken. And so the last time Parliament went on break, that CI has still not come to the floor of the House and is still in committee.
And also today we got clarity that the reason why they've had to stick with the district level registration is that fundamentally they didn't budget for this.
Yes.
Because they had expected that Parliament would have long passed the CI.
In fact, they say that CI would have made provision for continuous registration in its district office all year round. And so that budget they had made and which was approved by Parliament was only within the constraints that they were going to do the limited registration exercise in the district offices. But only for Parliament to turn its back against the express agreements they had reached at the Special Budget Committee chaired by the Majority Leader, not now to pass the CI for them. And so they are left handicapped. They do not have the budgetary resources, they do not have the budget, they don't have the resources to be able to go ahead, and they did not have any option than to limit this registration exercise in its district offices.
By the way, also going into today's major press conference, the EC itself has been accused of skewing the registration exercise to favor the incumbent New Patriotic Party. What was the chairperson's response to that?
In fact, that point has been made by both the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esidin Ketia, and the deputy general secretary, Mustafa Bandi. They cited what happened in Tamale and other places to say that the process is skewed to favor the NPP. Madam Jim Mensah says that would not make sense, and that if you look at the breakdown of data that has come in so far, clearly does not show that the EC is doing anything like that.
What is baffling is that the very same people who are accusing us of trying to disenfranchise eligible voters were silent in 2016 when the Commission instituted registration in the district offices ahead of the presidential and parliamentary election. I take this opportunity to urge the good citizens of Ghana not to believe everything they hear. The allegations being made against us, including accusations of our working to disenfranchise eligible voters, to sending faulty kits to the stronghold of a specific political party, are false. A number of districts reported having faulty kits on the first 2 days. These kits were not located only in the stronghold of a political party, of a particular political party, and the evidence is there for all to verify. The only region that did not report any faulty kits is the Savannah region. All other regions had faulty kits which were swiftly replaced.
And Kweku, today the EC is also confirming that they have had across the country incidents of individuals who may be aligned with other political parties queuing minors up to get them to register.
Yes, indeed. Madam Jean Mensah makes the point that a youth organizer of a political party she does not mention has currently been picked up by the police for assisting minors to register. She says that several such instances have happened across the country and the commission is cracking down on that, and she's sending a charge to the political parties that you are the ones criticizing us for doing A and then you are the ones doing the same things, and they must stop.
While we are doing everything in our power to capture every eligible voters, we are doing everything in our power to ensure that ineligible voters do not get onto our register. We are reliably informed about attempts by some persons to get minors on the register. And we encourage the citizens who observe these illegal practices to challenge them. We have a recourse in the law that allows citizens who qualify to vote, who qualify to register as voters, to challenge anyone who in their view is a minor or a foreigner. Additionally, we have charged our district electoral officers who are serving as registration officers to challenge the registration of these minors and foreigners. We expect that with their effective supervision and leadership, there will be no minors or foreigners on our electoral roll. We have received reports of the arrest of the youth organizer of one of the political parties in the Shai Osudoku constituency. It is alleged that he was facilitating the registration of minors. We are also aware of other cases of attempts by other persons who should know better to register minors. It is for this very reason that we felt it necessary to limit the documentation for identifying a person's citizenship and age to the Ghana card. Indeed, our experience with the 2020 registration exercise revealed attempts by minors and foreigners to illegally get on our roll. And it took a great deal of time, effort, and money to expunge them from our register. In all, we succeeded in deleting the details of 15,000 persons from our register.
And Kweku, there's also the real fear that the chairperson and the commission itself may be in danger of contempt of court. This came up at this press conference.
Yes, I asked that question directly to Madam Jean Mensah. The NDC filed an application for injunction on the 7th. They claim to have served the Electoral Commission, although there were no return date on the application because the Chief Justice had directed that she herself will fix the date. The next day, being 8th, another 18-year-old first-time registrant was Precious Aita also filed an injunction application through her lawyers, Nepapo Samoado. They claim to have also served the Electoral Commission. In fact, if you look at this affidavit that was signed by the bailiff, Ahmed Ansah, he claimed that he served the Electoral Commission on the 8th of September at 4:26 p.m. I put that question directly to Madam Jean Mensah. She says that she and her other commissioners were in the field. They only returned to their office the next Wednesday after the process had already started. It was then that they knew that an application for injunction had been filed. And that was the time it was brought to their attention. And so it cannot be said that they have disregarded an application for injunction which has duly been served on them to start the process, and that it cannot be true that they are just being lawless.
And that's a subject that the courts will have to kind of get into. We'll get some clarity on this for you if you join us on Newsnight. But I want to bring in right now the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gbande, who joins us on the line right now. Mustafa, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much, Evans, for having me.
Also joining us is the Deputy General Secretary for the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. Thanks for your time on Top Story.
Yes.
I mean, Mustafa, let me start with you. I mean, today we heard from the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission chairperson laid out a clear roadmap to ensure that no single eligible Ghanaian is disenfranchised. I want you to listen to that roadmap.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are well aware that the Commission's policy to use its 268 district offices as registration centers has attracted criticism from some sections of the society. As you may be aware, the Commission conducted a full-blown registration exercise in some 33,000 plus polling stations throughout the country in 2020. It is important to note that the current exercise is an update of the register. It is to allow persons who have attained the age of 18 years and above since 2020, and others who had not previously registered the opportunity to register to vote. It is not a full-blown registration. It is important to note that this will not be the only registration exercise before the 2024 election. In line with our plans to promote an inclusive, participatory registration process, we plan to institute continuous registration in all our district offices nationwide in 2020 for a considerable length of time. In addition to that, we will identify difficult to access areas and undertake a mop-up registration of voters in those areas. Of course, we will rely on data from the Ghana Statistical Service and our own database to determine areas where the registration figures are low as a result of inaccessibility to our district offices. And I'd like to repeat this, that this is not the only registration exercise prior to the elections in 2024. In line with our plan to promote an inclusive participatory registration process, we plan to institute registration in all our offices nationwide in 2024 for a considerable length of time. In addition to that, we will identify difficult to access areas and undertake a mop-up registration of voters in those areas.
Mustafa, does this address the concerns that your party has articulated over the last few weeks?
Thank you very much. It's even a worse position because, Evans, she says that, number one, she intends to institute a continuous registration. So, therefore, we don't have the right or we don't have to complain about the current ongoing exercise. Evans, the current ongoing exercise is full of challenges that are operational and technical. We have problems with network. You have seen people being moved to registration centers. You have 500 people standing there from morning, and at the close of day, only about 100 or 50, in some cases 70. The remaining would have to go home. Her own data suggests that the number of people who are enrolling onto the registration, most of them are people who do not have Ghana card, and for that matter, they go through the guarantor system. The same guarantor system requires that you bring 2 additional people to a registration center. Even if you carry 2 people to a registration center and you are not able to register, those 2 people will have to go and come back the following day. Who bears the cost? What are the practical implications of this? A challenge on the registrant, difficulty in accessing a registration center. Clearly, a violation of Section 2 of CI91, which says that in cycling of registration centers, such centers must be accessible to Ghanaians. The exercise is ongoing. She ought to have done her own analysis. But those affected, by consequences that are around the river bodies.
Those affected, he says, they will benefit when the mop-up comes around. He says they will invest in that.
Hello?
He talks about a mop-up for those you just talked about who will be affected. There will be a mop-up that takes care of them. Hello, Mustafa.
Can you hear me?
I can hear loud and clear. I'm saying that Jean Mensah says those affected, those you described, they will be taken care of in a mop-up exercise.
The mop-up she's talking about is a very good thing. I had innocent Ghanaians going through a very difficult challenge to be able to register. And that only falls in a strategic plan of the MPP because as it stands, they have activated registration of Ghana card, which is ongoing concurrently. And we just received reports that Nigerians are being registered onto Ghana card so that if the mop-up is activated, they will get those people to acquire voter ID card. That is the plan of the MPP.
But there's no
and
evidence.
But there's no evidence the whole country into that plan.
You're suggesting. You're just throwing this out there without any evidence that people are registering Nigerians.
I'm saying that mop-up I just was talking about only fall in line with the long-term strategy of the MPP and government into 2024. They have activated the Ghana card registration. And as we speak, we just got to know this evening that some Nigerians have been captured into the system. So we are going to start working on that tomorrow.
Have you filed a police report on this?
If I'm come again.
You know a political party is registering foreigners. Have you filed a police report?
No, political parties do not register Ghana card. It is the NIA. The NIA that is responsible for registration. They are doing same in LMLA.
No, you suggest at the beginning that this has been done to favor. It's part of the MPP strategy. That's your position.
Yes, that is correct. I'm saying that.
And I'm saying that you know this. Have you filed a report with the right authorities for this to be dealt with?
Who are we filing? Well-meaning Ghanaians have been calling on the EC. Journalists are calling on the EC. parents are calling on the EC, only for her to come back and say, oh, because we would activate a process, you don't have a ground to be worried. We have called an NIA, not today, to start registering before we get to this place. He refused to wait. When voters' registration started, then they will come up and say that they are registering Ghana card concurrently with the voter register. Data have just shown that quite a number of the young people who are registering are using the guarantor system, which presupposes that they don't have Ghana card. So are you saying that a young man should go through 4 or 5 days of a hustle to register for a voter ID card, and then after that, take another queue to register for a Ghana card? Why do we subject innocent young people to this kind of challenges?
Mustafa, stay with me. Let me bring in Haruna Mohammed now. He is a Deputy General Secretary for the MPP. Mr. Mohammed, first, is your party conniving with the NIA to register foreigners?
This is a very laughable issue. The NDC should stop complaining. I think that I want to quote John Mahama when he was president. He told us that when we had issues with EC and we had raised several issues, we had done press conferences, John Mahama had this to tell us. He said, leave the EC alone to do its job. In line with Article 45A, the EC is doing its job. This was what John Mahama told the MPP. And I want to re-echo to the NDC that they should leave the EC to do its job in line with Article 45A, and they should stop abusing CI 91. Yeah,
well, Haruna, you said they should leave them to do their job, Haruna. Even if that job, as the EC is doing, will or may disenfranchise Ghanaians, they should be left alone to do so?
I am very clear in my mind the point that I'm going to use. I'm saying that the NDC should stop abusing CI 91. If they don't understand clearly the provisions in CI 91, they should stop abusing it. If you say CI 91 says the Electoral Commission should register people at a center that is accessible, what is their definition of accessibility? Which of the Electoral Commission's office would you have to cross a river before that particular office before you enter? Which electoral office that is not accessible to the people? We can all argue on the fact that we needed the opportunity for Electoral Commission to expand voting centers. They decided to go to court. We in the MPP decided to do dialogue. And clearly, we don't need the Electoral Commission to win political power. We won political power in opposition in 2016. We won political power in 2020. We were not in power. We did not complain as they are doing, but we have contributed to electoral systems in this country, right from the days that we wrote the stolen verdict. The NDC should learn from us as the people of democracy. We have done a lot to contribute to registration system in this country. It is not all about going to court, but it is all about what you contribute meaningfully to change the electoral system in Ghana. They should not be desperate looking at that. It's 8 years we are going to get power, and they are talking the way they are talking. They should stop it, because we will win them. We'll win them in 2024.
Yeah, Haruna,
they have nowhere to go.
Haruna, if you listen to the G Mensa today, if you listen to the EC chairperson today, the mere fact that she admits that they will have to do a mop-up in itself suggests, just a second, in itself suggests that they admit that in this particular process, there will be people who will be disenfranchised.
Evans, there has never been any registration process in Ghana where there is no mop-up. Tell me. There has never been any registration process. I told you on this platform that this is not the first time we are doing registration at EC office. In 2016, it happened. That is the hypocrisy we want to expose. We in the MPP, we have several issues with this registration. Network issues, the issues of minors going into registering, the people inability to register, and some will have to go home. These are matters that we have to be interrogating. We should not be interrogating desperation. We should not be interested in that.
But
we should be
interested
in how to get Ghanaian citizens to fulfill their right in the Constitution of the Republic.
But one of those rights is also to vote in the district level elections.
And it is not compulsory to vote. Your right is to register, but it is not a right. It is not compulsory for you to vote.
Even the mop-up that the EC chairperson talks about is only for the 2024 elections. But what about the district level elections? People have a right to vote in that too.
You cannot approbate a reprobate. You can't. The same EC came to Parliament. They came with a CI. We in the majority supported the CI. That is to establish continuous registration centers at the EC office. The NDC went against this particular process. They have told you, clearly 6 months, the Electoral Commission would have been doing continuous registration. 6 good months. The Electoral Commission would have been doing that. And if you go to CI 91, it is clearly stated there. If you go to the Constitution itself, it is clearly stated. When you go to Article 45, it tells you all these matters are enshrined. But because somebody is desperate, somebody wants to get to power, they want to talk to Ghanaians as if it is their turn. It is the turn of the people of Ghana. But let me tell the NDC, we are not interested that the EC should aid us in winning elections. We are never in bed with the EC. We are never in bed with the EC. We don't need any assistance from the EC, but we have the right to contribute to what the EC does. And if they know that they can exercise their right, they should come to IPAC. They should stop that voodoo issues and come to IPAC.
Yeah,
they have gone out of IPAC.
Yeah,
they should come to IPAC.
And Mustafa, your party joined others to go to court. And this comes down to, so we are in the middle of this process. The EC today clearly is going ahead. It's impossible, they say, to register people at the electoral level. They simply haven't got the budget for it. This is going to go ahead to the end. Is the NDC adopting any other strategies to ensure that your concerns are addressed?
Thank you very much. Evans, you just asked my brother a simple question, and he's been pontificating in the last 5 minutes without answering that question. One, that is the EC helping the exercise in favor of the MPP? He didn't answer that. Number two, he wants us to discuss IPAC. IPAC is not in this. We cannot sacrifice one law for the other. There's a law that establishes continual registration. There's a law that says limited registration. Limited registration is limited registration. What is manifesting on the ground is a difficulty that the Electoral Commission and government is subjecting innocent Ghanaians into unnecessarily, condemnably so. They are not willing to change. We will monitor the process from now to Friday, and I pray that the Electoral Commission does not move the anger of the young people against itself. I pray and hope that the young people are willing to continue the patience, to tolerate, and to go through the exercise. But the challenges are very clear. The challenges are very visible. If the Electoral Commission pretends that she's not aware of these challenges, then she's sleeping on the job.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. Thank you, Haruna.